Lobachevsky identified several pathways that lead to what we would call personality disorders. And he distinguished different types of personality disorders based on what their cause was. So this was the kind of the tradition, the scientific tradition in which he was brought up. And that is, if you're essentially, classifying. So if you're essentially born with it, if it's something that seems genetic or inherited, then he would consider that a psychopathy. So we'd probably consider like a lot of personality disorders to be inherited, or to be like temperamental, to be genetic, or somehow deeply rooted with the development of an individual. And well, there's even questions about that, but as just a rough framework, that's what he went with. And so if someone acquired personality changes through brain damage, and that brain damage could come through blunt trauma to the head, often and more severely as a child or as an infant, that there can be birth complications, or even pregnancy complications, like lack of oxygen, or exposure to certain chemicals or substances or hormones, like too much or too less, too little. And so he distinguished between like inherited and acquired forms. And then the third one was kind of the social influences. Like if you're a child raised by a parent or two parents who have personality disorders, he'd consider that a third. He used sociopathy for that one. So psychopathy was genetic. Characteropathy was acquired biologically through some kind of trauma to the brain. Yeah,
that was
and sociopathy was acquired through.
That was the word I was trying to.
Characteropathy. So
yeah. It's one of
and so there's an approach now.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm forgetting we have that
right.
Slight delay.
But it's one of those words that he used that were very specific to his work, that you don't really encounter terminology like that outside of Lobachevsky's work. I had never heard the term characteropathy before I read that book.